Hello everyone, welcome into LCTV 66 Inside Sports, our Super Bowl edition. Eric May with Nick Dianastasis as we are finally set now for the Super Bowl, 24 hours removed from the championship games. And wow, what a pair of games
it is
on Sunday.
What a great matchup. You took a legend, Bill Belichick, future NFL Hall of Famer as head coach, along with Tom Brady, future NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, as you know, as well as other players on the team are future Hall of Famers. And the Patriots obviously fights two guys, obviously. And as you know, the Patriots are the only team in NFL history now to have 20 postseason wins. For Bill Belichick, he passes a head coach in NFL history, including playoff wins and regular season wins, passes the legendary Tom Landry, most wins ever.
Yeah.
Postseason wins ever. What, 20 total.
It's been a tremendous decade plus for the Patriots franchise and Belichick, and of course, you know, Tom Brady coming in after Drew Bledsoe got hurt a number of years ago and took over the reins, and
right.
The rest they say is history. But let's kind of look back at the two games from Sunday in the championship games, and I think football fans are still shaking their head over that Seattle Green Bay game. How Seattle was able to win when getting thoroughly outplayed is beyond me.
Right. Especially with Seattle having 4 interceptions from Russell Wilson, the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, all pro, good guy. All field, been outstanding, a winner. You know, how they won a game of Green Bay after that, just amazes me.
Yeah. Well, and you look at the Packers and missed opportunities.
Right.
You get inside that red zone, you want to get touchdowns. They had to settle for field goals. And I know a lot of talk came down to that onside kick and the guy mishandling it, but you know what? That was just one play of many that the Packers didn't execute. You add them all together, and it's a Seahawks victory.
Exactly.
It's still hard to believe.
It is, exactly. Most teams, as you know, who have 4 interceptions for their starting quarterback in a championship game, okay, where it's college or pros, usually lose the game 99% of the time.
Right. You lose the turnover battle, you're losing the game too. Right. And Seattle's offense just looks so out of sync. They had no running game in the first half, no passing game in the first half. If anything, Seattle's got to thank their defense for making those 2, red zone stands.
Yes,
they only gave up 2 field goals.
Exactly.
And they got the job done. They really got the job done. Because when you go up 16-0 on Seattle, in Seattle, you got to win. You've got to put the hammer down and finish it. And unfortunately for the Packers, didn't happen.
Right. Packers obviously choked the game, I guess, for what it sounds like. We have 16. They obviously should have won the game, not lose to Seattle.
Well, and you go back and you even look at the 2-point conversion that Seattle got at the end, and how Russell Wilson just kind of threw it up there, kind of like a Hail Mary almost.
Yeah.
And the Packers, defensively just couldn't read it right. They got the 2-point conversion. You figure if the Packers can even deflect the pass and decline Seattle from getting that 2-point conversion, that field goal at the end is the winner. And now we're talking about Green Bay and a picture of Aaron Rodgers here as opposed to Russell Wilson going against Tom Brady.
That's the difference, right?
Unbelievable.
Game of inches. Things are just,
So, and indeed, a tough one for the Packers fans to swallow today. And it's going to be a long, long off season because, boy, as good as they looked, and I think so many people were thinking, this is going to be the Packers' year of getting back to the Super Bowl. Just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. All right, before we get to the recap of New England and Indianapolis, which really wasn't much of a recap, but I want to throw a couple trivia questions your way.
That's fine, okay.
Pertaining to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Let's see if I need these glasses. All right.
Sure.
Okay. Here's the first one. And I don't know if I repeated these from last year or not. I tried to come up with some new ones.
That's
but,
okay, whatever. Yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers won back-to-back Super Bowls under 2 different head coaches. Who were those head coaches?
You're right. Okay. It was Bill Walsh, and then what have to be George Seifert.
It was George Seifert.
Right.
Super Bowls 23 and 24.
Right.
All right. You're 1 for 1.
Okay. I just thought of something. Oh, my gosh. Would you believe, ironically, Bill Walsh's last year as head coach in the NFL, 10th to final year as head coach in the NFL with the 49ers, was 1988 seasons, Super Bowl 23, where he's lucky to be able to get by a pesky, tough Bengals team by Sam Weiss, 2016. He retired after the Super Bowl, his third Super Bowl triumph. But the next year, though, George Seifert, great assistant coach, yet inherited a great Super Bowl team and won a Super Bowl the next year as head coach of the 49ers. Big, 55-10 over John Elway and Denver Broncos.
So Walsh's last Super Bowl was the one where Montana took him down the field at the end,
Right.
and he threw the touchdown pass to
Exactly,
John Taylor.
2016.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
One where the Bengals guy was a Billups, could have intercepted, but he blew it. He didn't come to the interception, and that gave him a second chance. Montana, that was a mistake.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. You're off to a
Yeah.
good start here. You're
Yeah.
1 for 1. All right.
Right.
Which team set the record with 602 yards of offense in a Super Bowl?
602 yards. That's incredible.
That's a ton of offense.
Well, I'm going to have to say it's got to be at least one or two different teams. There's a great team at Super Bowl 22, the 1987 season, by Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP over John Elway. Dan Reeves and the Denver Broncos ended up beating him 42-10, and the MVP at Super Bowl was Doug Williams. The next year, I was shocked that he was out of the league. I couldn't believe it because I thought he had a pretty good career to his credit.
What have you done for me lately? Right.
And then I remember amazing another team. The last Super Bowl appearance they ever made, the Washington Redskins, and before Dan Reeves first retired. It had to been like Super Bowl 28 when it beat the Bills 38-24. The unsung hero of that game, Timmy Smith, he had 200 yards rushing. NFL Super Bowl MVP was excellent. Shockingly, who would have thought that next year never played in the NFL again? I was shocked as anybody was.
In fact, I think I heard that
It's a one-game wonder.
He's
That's
in jail
sad.
right now.
That's too
But
bad.
you had it right. It was the Redskins against the Broncos.
Yeah.
In 1988. All right.
Right.
Let's throw one more out here at you before
Absolutely.
we start talking about the Patriots and Colts. What player holds the record for the most career fumbles in a Super Bowl?
I gotta think.
See, I'm not letting you get down easy street this time.
Oh, that's okay. That's all part of the deal. I'm here to just keep going out and do the best possible each show I do with you, Eric. That's what I always believe. And keep looking forward and learn to build new things. So, I'm trying to think, if it came from a running back or did it come from a quarterback who loves to run a lot but also pass? I think which position that would be. That's the question.
Well, you're in the ballpark there. He was a quarterback.
All right. Well,
Roger Staubach.
oh, that's shocking.
5 fumbles in 4 Super Bowl games.
That's
So,
a shocker. I never thought it'd be him.
So,
Won
yeah.
2 Super Bowls in
Well,
his career.
he had that style of play where he's running.
Oh my God.
Plus, when you're a passer, you're going to get some hits that
Yeah.
jar the ball loose in the pocket. All right.
Wow.
Game number 2 yesterday. Patriots, Colts, and I think a lot of people were thinking, you know what, maybe the Colts do have enough. Well, New England showed just why that they are Super Bowl champions many times over, and
Right,
once
exactly.
they really started to get going,
Right.
it was all the Patriots' way.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
what was your impression of the Patriots yesterday?
I was shocked how I knew the Patriots are a great team. Absolutely, they're just outstanding. The Patriots in their 8th Super Bowl appearance coming up. The Patriots' record in Super Bowl overall is 3-4 in their history, and of course that's with 3 different head coaches with over a record like that. 3 different head coaches. So they. I thought it'd be a much closer game. I was shocked and disappointed. Indianapolis was only down 17-10 at the half. How can I believe it was as bad as it is second? I was shocked.
No.
That should have been a lot closer game than that.
Yeah, 17-7 at the half, but
I picked the Colts to win. I was disappointed.
too many drop passes,
No wonder.
too many missed opportunities, and let's face it, the Colts didn't have their full array as far as their backfield is concerned. But New England played the game, and you look at the New England roster too, and it is not a lot of superstars, but a guy like Tom Brady can make everybody around him better. Not to mention Belichick as well. I mean, it's a matter of being at the right system. But so New England, and I think despite the fact that the weather the way it was, you look at the last couple of games that the Patriots and Colts have played, and New England has blown them out each time. Yesterday was no different, and now New England has an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl once again. These two guys are going to be going head to head. A little bit of difference as far as how much money they make. Now, Russell Wilson, of course, in the final year of his contract, I would expect him to be making a pretty good paycheck this time next year.
And in a way, I can see why. The guy, in many ways, has made a way to earn it. He worked hard, dedicated his team, good guy off the field. That's so nice about him as a person. He represents off the field more than anything. And then also, when it's on the field, he knows how to win games.
That's the bottom line.
Here, he's supposed to be undersized in the NFL. He proved his critics wrong. He doesn't win Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
He does great. This year, gets the team back to Super Bowl in spite of the fact he had 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's what I said about the guy. So much resiliency. He knows what it takes to win.
Doesn't put up the big fantasy numbers.
Right.
But the only number he's worried about, or the letter he's worried about, is the W. And the fact that they get the win, and Seattle continues to do that. And of course, then yesterday the talk was, did the Patriots underinflate the football so it's a little bit easier to hold?
Yeah.
Of course, the report came out of Indianapolis, so don't know how much credibility or crying over spilled milk, but is this something that New England's just going to have to live with? The fact that every year now, if they win, there's going to be something that helped them out.
That's a good question, Eric, because what other teams said about him, about New England, saying what they did with inflated football. I don't know if it's necessarily true or not true. Kind of up in the air. You know? So, but it's a shame it had to come out because New England just had a great year and right in the Super Bowl, the 8th time in their history, and of course, the 6th time under the same head coach, Bill Belichick. Okay, and that's why it's a shame it had to come out of that controversy about that situation.
Well, it's always going to happen. Once it happens, any time they win, there's going to be some sort of controversy that comes up. All right. Well, we are going to step aside. We are going to get back to LCTV 66 Inside Sports, our Super Bowl edition. We'll return right after this.
LCTV 66 is your community channel, and your donations keep us on the air and help to produce more local programs. Send your tax-deductible donation of $500, $100, or more to the address on the screen. Or think of it this way: for the price of a couple of movie tickets, you can help support your community channel. Send what you can and be a part of all that is good about Lancaster County. Thank you for your tax-deductible donation to LCTV 66, Lancaster's Connection.
And welcome back into LCTV 66 Inside Sports, our Super Bowl special. Eric May along with Nick Dianastasis talking about New England and Seattle coming up in, which Super Bowl is this?
This is Super Bowl 49.
I'm not real good with Roman numerals, so.
That's okay.
All right, 49 it is. All right, before we get into the breakdown of the upcoming Super Bowl, let me throw a couple more trivia questions at you, Nick.
Sure.
See how you do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sure.
Who was the first receiver to win an MVP in a Super Bowl?
All right. I'm going to take a wild guess. I hope I have this one correct. There was a guy by the name of, in Super Bowl 11, the Raiders beat the Vikings pretty bad, 32-14. Super Bowl 11, where Fred Biletnikoff was Super Bowl MVP, the wide receiver in that Super Bowl for the Oakland Raiders. Is outstanding.
You know what? I think you're right. And I think my answer is wrong. I had Lynn Swann of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, it's a great guess, though.
But you know what? I think it was Biletnikoff.
Yeah.
I'll have to check my source.
Yeah.
But that's good. All right, I'm gonna give you credit for that one. All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
But all right. Besides Bart Starr, what other player was awarded the MVP in 2 consecutive Super Bowls?
Steelers won the 4 Super Bowls. Terry Bradshaw won MVP in one of his 4 Super Bowls for sure, obviously, which he did. Maybe 2 of them.
It was Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Who was the only player to rush for 3 touchdowns in a Super Bowl?
See what I can come up with. Okay.
He got to the end zone and would do one of these.
I remember a guy by the name of.
I gave you his touchdown celebration.
Oh, I remember now. I remember back for Denver Broncos, had a short career, but he was great.
Yep.
And he put that like salute.
Yep.
And he
the
helped
Mile High
Broncos win
salute.
2 straight Super Bowls before John Elway retired for good as a Broncos quarterback.
And his name was? Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis, that was the guy.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at some of the matchups here in the Super Bowl. First and foremost, you look at the quarterbacks. You look at Brady. He's been there. He's done it. Just really a model of consistency. But is there really that much of a drop-off from Brady to Wilson in what Wilson has done in a very short period of time?
Not really much a drop-off. Not at all. They have some good similarities, these guys. Because not only can Wilson throw the ball well, he can run with the ball well. He has a lot of speed because he's a much younger quarterback than Brady as far as age goes. As you know, he's only been in the league like 3 years. Yeah, Wilson. What he's done in the league, Wilson, 3 years is amazing. All pro, at least 2 or 3 years. For people who say he's undersized, he's after the University of Wisconsin. He played Wisconsin 1 year. Remember, he had to start his career in NC State. He transferred to play last year college football, University of Wisconsin, for Brett Bielema before going to the NFL the following year.
All right. Your backfields. Obviously, Marshawn Lynch is just, as they say, a beast. And it's hard to imagine the fact that the word is out that the Seahawks are going to part ways with Marshawn Lynch after the season. I can't see why, when this guy has been such an important part of that offense. But on the flip side, you look at New England. They had LeGarrette Blount last year. He goes and re-signs with the Steelers, gets released by the Steelers, gets picked up. Now all of a sudden he's got a new lease on life. He's running the ball well for the Patriots. Who do you see having the edge there as far as the running attack is concerned?
That's a good question. I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks have a slight edge, only because the Seahawks won a Super Bowl as recent last year, and the defending Super Bowl champions coming in this game against a team that won Super Bowl before, in spite of it a lot, 3, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and those guys during the Millennium era.
Yeah.
In spite of it. It's a slight advantage.
All right. You look at the receiving core, again, not a lot of big names with New England. Really not a lot of big names with Seattle as well. If there's any one name that is kind of head and shoulders above the rest, it's got to be Rob Gronkowski, the tight end.
Right.
Who do you see has the advantage as far as the receivers are concerned?
That's a good question, too. In my opinion, I think they're basically, a receiver, in my opinion, just basically even for both teams. Both quarterbacks have great receivers they can throw to and count on and make good catches and clutch catches most of the time. They make a great Super Bowl, regardless of which team to win, whether it's Seattle or New England. It should be a high-scoring game of fair either way. It should be a great football game, whoever wins anyway. Okay. And not be a boring blowout like it was last year, where Seattle demolished Peyton Manning, a great year from last year, and Denver Broncos, I think it was like 40-some to 8. It was awful.
You knew
lopsided.
You knew it from the very first snap when it went over his head in for a safety that it was going to be a bad day for Denver.
Yes.
All right. The other thing that I guess really stands out then is the defense. I mean, Seattle's defense is well known for their secondary, how they are able to stop teams when they get inside the red zone. But again, you look at New England, and again, not a lot of big name players, but collectively as a unit, they play really well. So who in your eyes gets the edge defensively here today?
Well, I'll tell you, you know what? Both teams, in my opinion, just have a great defense. In New England, great defense. What they've done over the years is just incredible. And the New England defense still proved yesterday why they still have a great defense. The way they dominated a good Indianapolis offense. And Andrew Luck, in 3 years in the NFL, has been all-pro quarterback all 3 years. He's been outstanding. He has good running backs, good receivers, all that stuff. And, and because of that, I mean, New England just has an outstanding defense going into that game. A good advantage to knock off, upset Seattle in the Super Bowl. But on the other hand, I look at Seattle defense helped save the game, basically. As you know, for Seattle's offense to win a Super Bowl, had not been them, they probably would have lost a Super Bowl, as you know. Lost the championship yesterday to Green Bay. Instead of winning in a miracle, went down 16-0.
Yeah. Well, all right. So that's going to lead us up to then a prediction, which I don't want yet.
Right.
Keep it in your thoughts.
I will.
All right.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. A couple more trivia questions to throw your way.
Sure.
Who was the only player to come up with 3 interceptions in a Super Bowl?
3 interceptions. Think if it be an NFC team or an AFC team. That's how you got to figure. Let me see which decade it might have happened. I remember now. Oh, very well. Yes, I do. It was for me. It was a sad day for Eagles fans. We lost. Right. We got dismantled by the Raiders, 27-10, and Jim Plunkett and Tom Flores and gang. They dominated. It was 27-10. Ron Jaworski did 3 interceptions Super Bowl against the Raiders defense.
So who picked them off? Who had the 3 interceptions for the Raiders?
Okay. It either had to have been Ted Hendricks, Jack Squirk, or it might have been possibly Lester Hayes is another possibility.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Cecil Upshaw, one of the
Jack Squire was the one he picked off the pass against Joe Theismann. This guy was Rod Martin.
Rod Martin, unsung hero.
Rod Martin, a linebacker. All right.
Okay.
Here's an interesting one that kind of caught my eye. Was who was the last player to win an MVP without figuring in scoring a touchdown? So this guy made contributions without scoring a touchdown, and he still got the MVP.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to assume. I'm going to have to take a guess and assume, even though it happened that way, in his honor, even though he get a touchdown out of it anyhow, I'm going to have to assume he may have had to have been then an offensive player, not a defensive player.
He was an offensive player. He was a wide receiver. I'm going to drop a couple hints.
Wow. Okay. So I think if that'd be for an NFC or AFC team.
He was an AFC.
AFC. Okay. All right. Had to have been.
He was a receiver for this guy, Tom Brady.
I'm trying hard to get that one right. Who that guy would be? Oh my God. Go ahead.
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch. That's who it was.
Super Bowl 39.
Wow.
All right. Okay, let's go a couple more, and then we're going to get a prediction. What future Super Bowl winning coach caught a touchdown pass from Roger Staubach in Super Bowl XLIX? So this guy caught a touchdown pass, ended up going into coaching and won a Super Bowl. Who was it? Had one of the greatest running backs ever.
Oh, I got it. I tell you, this has got to be right. I hope so. I love it. I with the Charlie because I hate to get them wrong. I'm gonna take a walk because I hope I'm right. Mike Ditka.
It was Mike Ditka.
Yes.
Yep. Super Bowl XLIX.
All right.
All right. Well, we're getting to that point now where we're running out of time. So, who's going to win? And give me a score.
Okay. In spite of the fact that it's amazing, Patriots come in this game with a lot of momentum. Okay, after demolishing Indianapolis, surprisingly, obviously it was not the case. Seattle, because Seattle went to the Super Bowl last year, they're going to get a lot of momentum. They're credit defending Super Bowl champs. So I'm going to say Seattle's going to win a Super Bowl, but only a field goal though. That's how much respect I have to the Patriots and Bill Belichick. They're going to win. My scores, I'm going to say that it's going to be Seattle final score. Seattle 34, New England 31.
Wow.
That's my pick.
A lot of points.
Oh yeah, both teams have great potent offenses.
Woo!
And I see the Seahawks have a lot less turnovers this game because they're the President's they're already in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you
second straight year.
You can bet that
they're revamped. They're more relaxed. They're back there again.
New England will not allow, if they get that many turnovers, they're going to turn them into points.
Right. If they have enough turnovers, yeah.
Thing that concerns me about Seattle was the fact that Richard Sherman got dinged up. Don't know the severity as far as that injury is concerned. You know, you wonder about the momentum, but now there's 2 weeks, and that momentum can really just slide. I just think right now New England's just playing some really good football. And it doesn't matter if they get behind or not. We saw what they did twice against Baltimore, coming back from deficits. I think the championship goes back to New England again this year.
Well, that might happen. It's always a great possibility that could happen based on their Super Bowl success of winning 3 Super Bowls in their history under the same head coach.
No, I'm thinking something in the line of
quarterback in
24-20. So,
okay.
So we've got it on tape. We'll go back and look at it after the season's over, and we'll see who's right.
You got it. That'll be interesting to see.
All right. Thank you very much, Nick.
Absolutely.
For Nick Dianastasis, I'm Eric May. Thanks for joining us on LCTV 66 Inside Sports, our Super Bowl special. Thanks for joining us.